Let's be honest. Think back to your last conflict. Someone threw a harsh remark at you, devalued your work, or simply tried to hurt your feelings. What did you do? You immediately started to respond. You justified yourself. You came up with ironclad arguments. And then, the classic. You lay awake all night, staring at the ceiling, thinking up that perfect, crushing response that you never uttered. Do you know what really happened at that moment? You voluntarily gave that person control over your psyche. You drained your energy without even noticing how you were being manipulated. Strong people don't do that. They don't get into verbal fights at all. They use a weapon that makes manipulators physically shake. And that weapon is absolute, icy silence. For thousands of years, society has fed us fairy tales. We have been taught that the winner is the one who shouts the loudest, the one who dominates the conversation, the one who always has the last word, no matter what. But let's be honest, this is a circus for the weak. Look at any room. The loud person is constantly fussing. He waves his arms, trying to fill the space with his voice. He desperately craves attention, like oxygen. He reveals all his cards in the first minute. But the most dangerous person in this room is not him. It is the one sitting in the corner, not saying a word. The one who is just watching. Niccolò Machiavelli, the greatest architect of power in history, understood this 500 years ago. He saw talkative rulers lose their crowns, while quiet strategists built empires from the shadows. Machiavelli knew a harsh rule. If you react to every barking dog, you will never reach your goal. Today, we are dissecting a law that will set you apart from the crowd forever. The art of strategic silence. Watch this video to the end, and I guarantee that once you understand this dark mechanism, no one on this planet will be able to pull your strings anymore. Your emotions will become bulletproof. Moreover, the Zeigarnik effect kicks in here. Psychology says that the human brain remembers unfinished actions twice as well as completed ones. Your response, your hysterics, that's a full stop in the sentence. The gestalt is closed. The conflict is exhausted. The manipulator goes to sleep peacefully. But your silence, that's an ellipsis. It's an open wound in their consciousness. Observe how they break down in 4 stages. Confusion. He thinks, hey, didn't he hear me? Why isn't he angry? He starts to feel physically uncomfortable. The air becomes heavy. Hypercompensation. To cover up this awkwardness, the aggressor starts to fidget. He speaks faster. His voice cracks. He tries to turn everything into a joke. Before your eyes, he transforms from a predator into a clown who dances around, begging for your attention. Destructive doubt. You've parted ways, but for him, hell has only just begun. He lies in bed, and his thoughts go round and round. What did he think of me? Maybe he knows something I don't. Maybe I went too far. Obsession. You didn't do anything at all. You just kept quiet. But you've settled in his head. He'll write kilometer-long messages that he'll never send. He'll rehearse conversations with you in the shower. You've physically disappeared, but in his mind, you've become a ghost. Weak people always demand explanations. Strong people understand that leaving someone in complete uncertainty is the most elegant and cruel punishment of all. So why is it so difficult for you to do this? Why do your fingers automatically reach for the keyboard to type out an angry response? because you are addicted to social approval. We live in an era of quick reactions. Our brains release a microdose of dopamine every time we prove ourselves right on the internet. The smoking room. We think that if we remain silent, we will lose. We think that if we don't respond to a message within 5 minutes, the world will collapse. Why does silence frighten us so much? Why, when there is a pause in conversation, are we ready to blurt out any nonsense, reveal someone else's secret, or humiliate ourselves just to fill that pause? People have become too accessible. We have turned into yard dogs, running after every stick that is thrown. Someone writes a toxic comment, and we rush to respond. Someone teases us in company, and we snap back. We think we are protecting ourselves. In reality, we are bleeding to death. The metaphor is very simple. Imagine a machine gunner and a sniper. A reactive person is like a panicked machine gunner. He pulls the trigger and fires in all directions. He makes noise, attracts attention, and ends up with an empty magazine. A strong person is a sniper. He can lie motionless in the mud for hours. He controls his breathing, and he uses one shot. Or he doesn't shoot at all if the target is trash. Let me tell you a true story from the Renaissance. The story of the man who inspired Machiavelli to write The Prince. Cesare Borgia. In 1502, his own generals rebelled against him. Realizing they were losing, they requested peace talks. They came to his castle and began to talk. They talked for hours. They made excuses, flattered him, blamed circumstances, tried to read his face. They poured tons of words at him. And what did Cesare Borgia do? He sat at the head of the table and remained silent. No accusations, no arguments. He did not try to shout them down. He just stared at them with a completely blank, unblinking gaze. In this vacuum of silence, the generals began to panic. Trying to fill the pause, they began to talk too much. They betrayed their fears, their weaknesses, and their allies, naively deciding that his silence was a sign of forgiveness. That same night, Cesare executed them all. He did not waste a single word on them. Let's move on to your reality. You don't need to physically destroy anyone, but the laws of power have not changed one bit. When you remain silent, your opponent begins to digest himself. Now let's get inside the head of the manipulator you are punishing with your silence. What is happening on the other side? We are social animals. Evolution has taught us that if the tribe ignores you, you will starve to death. When an aggressor strikes, he waits for your reaction. Your anger, your excuses, your tears. This is his food. In psychology, this is called a narcissistic resource. But when he crashes into the icy wall of your silence, his brain gives a critical error. Neuroscientists have proven a frightening fact. When a person is deliberately ignored, the anterior cingulate cortex lights up in their brain. This is the very area that is responsible for physical pain. Your silence literally causes them pain, forcing them to face total psychological rejection. This is slavery disguised as social activity. When you care about the opinions of others, you give them the keys to your mind. They can make you happy with a single compliment, and they can ruin your day with a single insult. Your emotional state is completely dependent on external factors. Machiavelli warned, "A ruler who seeks the love of everyone around him will receive no one's love." A person who is afraid of being misunderstood makes decisions out of fear, not strategy. The desire to prove oneself right is the death of power. A powerful person cares about their goal, their mission, their legacy. They couldn't care less about the opinions of those who play no role in their path. But there is a crucial distinction here. Simply shutting up because you're scared and strategic silence are two different things. When you are silent out of fear, you hide your eyes, slouch, and wish the ground would swallow you up. This is the position of a victim. Strategic silence is when you are upright. You look straight through the person. Your energy does not disappear. It is compressed into a spring inside you. How can you implement this weapon today? Remember 4 tactical rules. First, classify the trash. Not all people deserve even your silence. Cut off energy vampires. These are people who constantly dump their problems on you and feed off your sympathy. You don't need to explain anything to them. No need for long goodbyes. Excuses are also energy. Just increase the distance. Answer in monosyllables. Turn off read receipts. Disappear from their radar. Second, the 3-second rule. If someone attacks you in a negotiation or argument, asks a provocative question, or offers trashy terms, never respond immediately. Look them straight in the eye without changing your expression and slowly count to 3 in your head. This tiny pause creates enormous gravitational pressure. 90% of people will break down in the second and start offering better terms just to break the torture of silence. Third, mirror the aggressor. If someone tries to humiliate you in public, don't defend yourself. Defending yourself acknowledges the attacker's status. Instead, look at the person with a slight, almost imperceptible puzzlement, as if you were watching a strange insect. Let their words hang in the air. Let everyone around you realize the inappropriateness of their hysteria. Your silence will become a mirror that reflects their inadequacy. Fourth, Apatheia training. Your ego will resist. It will scream, "Destroy him with facts." The Stoics called the ability to extinguish this impulse Apatheia, a state in which external storms cannot penetrate your inner citadel. The next time you are provoked, imagine that you are facing a hysterical 3-year-old child. You're not going to seriously try to prove your point to a crying toddler, are you? You'll just look at them with calm indulgence. Do the same with toxic adults. Here is the key insight that you watched this video for. We are accustomed to thinking that silence is a defensive tactic, a way to avoid making mistakes. No. When you remain silent, you are not withdrawing from the battle. You are striking directly at the pain center of your opponent's brain. Life is social chess. Most people play checkers. They only see one move ahead, rush at every pawn, emotionally defend every square, and end up losing the board. The master knows. The one who needs the least has absolute power. People are terrified of emptiness. But when you convey that you are completely comfortable within your own silence, you break their matrix. You become a center of attraction. Because people are always drawn to that rare resource that they cannot subjugate. Everything we have discussed today is a path to one goal. You become untouchable. This is not pretentiousness. This is your new psychological architecture. A person who has discovered this power even walks differently. There is a gravity in their eyes that makes manipulators think twice before opening their mouths in their presence. They do not compete with the noise of the crowd. They rise above it. Your thoughts, they are your personal empire. Your attention, It is the most valuable currency in the world. And from now on, only you stand at the gates of your fortress and decide who is worthy of even a drop of your time. Understand one harsh, cynical truth. Most people around you don't even deserve your silence. Stop wasting your energy. That fussy, reactive person who depends on other people's words and likes died today, at this very moment. If these words have pierced your social armor, if you are ready to stop being a pawn in other people's games, go down to the comments and write 3 words as an unbreakable oath to yourself. Silence, my weapon. Let the algorithms and this world see that you have made your final choice. Hit like. This is your digital contract with the psychology of a winner. Subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications. We have only just begun to uncover things that society prefers to cowardly keep silent about. Your time has come. Take action and be untouchable.